games like Armor Core and Dark Souls always puts me in like a real cool mood. Always has me kind of like excited. I like games and shows where there's monsters being slain. Like I've always been a big fan of like Power Rangers and shit, of course, because there was Monster of the Week. Love the Powerpuff Girls for the same exact reason. You know, what monsters are they going to beat the absolute shit out of this week? And I've always been kind of like a big fan of that stuff. Even down to like when I saw my first anime and I saw Akira. Akira didn't have me scared, but it always had me I remember this and I need to know what this is because I didn't know what it was when I was that young. I think I was like 4 when I first saw Akira, 4 or 5, some shit like that. Like my grandma and my uncle had it on.
Man, just watching Akira now, it's I don't know, like if you had like a way different experience only at being 5 years old, now watching it's like,
oh man, there's so much more to understand about it. 'Cause when I finally discovered Akira again, like I'm 34 now, and I discovered it like what it was probably when I was like 20, 22. Like when I saw it again, because I always see it somewhere, like, you know, on websites or maybe at the video stores and shit. You know, I'd see it and be like, I don't know what that is, but I feel like I need to know what that is. Akira. Like one day I'll watch it. One of these days I'll watch it. One of these days I'll watch it. And one day it came on TV and I was like, all right, let me check this shit out. Just sit down and watch it. Fuck it. And I was like, this is the fucking movie. This is the anime that I've been looking for. Like the movie. Like this is the thing. This is the shit with the big ball at the. This is the thing. You know. And on my quest for looking for that movie again. Back in the day, we used to have this little video store that used to sell. Apparently, they used to sell adult movies and stuff, but they also used to rent like kung fu movies and shit. And my uncle and my grandmother and my aunt were the only ones who ever went into the store. When I was younger, I didn't know they sold porn in the store. They would just have me sit in the car and shit and be like, I'll be right back. And they'd go.
This ain't a Blockbuster, right?
Nah, this ain't a Blockbuster. This was like this wasn't even like a Hollywood video or
Mom and pop.
This was a straight up mom and pop. This was right around the way.
When you had the videos in one place and then you had that back room that said 18 years old.
See, what I think is that they just had that shit everywhere because they wouldn't let me in the video store. Because we used to go to video stores and bookstores and stuff, and they'd have those rooms, but there'd just be like a curtain.
Yeah, you can't go here and
right. You can't go back there. Whatever. It's like whatever. You know, like I feel like there was even a Blockbuster that had one back in the day, but I could just be like remembering shit wrong because it was so long ago.
But damn, that's like FYE in the mall. Well, FYE
used to have the little naughty section.
all they did was just
put a little black box, a little black sleeve over it.
That was it. I was like,
it's like all you had to do was just leave that shit for it, and people wouldn't even be looking at you. They just be like, whatever. You know, it's right there. I mean, shit, look at it. It's
like,
you know,
why the fuck put it right there?
Right?
If you're like a 10-year-old's gonna pass by like, ooh, boobies.
But they used to go to this video store and they used to bring home kung fu movies. And this is actually how I saw Fatal Fury the first time. All 3 of them. They brought those home. And my uncle brought one home and he had it for a couple days. And I think it was summertime. And he said, hey, don't watch this one. And I said, all right, I won't watch that one. And he left it in the VHS player. And well, I hit rewind on it, and then I hit play. And up comes this little show called Ogre Slayer. Now, Ogre Slayer, at the time, I was in the 4th grade. And I just described to you all the things I had witnessed, you know, all the different types of little mediums and stuff I kind of got into at the time. I hadn't really understood that Japanese and Chinese were different people yet. Like I didn't know that there was a Korea and a Vietnam and a you know different parts of China, Mongolia, Japan. I had no idea these places existed. To my understanding, they were just Chinese. I had seen kung fu movies and we ate Chinese food.
Chinese people.
You know, I assumed, you know, in the fourth grade, I assumed that anything with eyes like that were Chinese. And I didn't know that anime was a thing. I wasn't aware that anime itself was a thing.
You just saw cartoons and that was it.
Yeah.
You thought
know,
it was just cartoons from like something else.
Like, how else do you describe it when you hadn't ever seen? You know, like, it's just, you've seen this and you've seen, like, man, they don't make cartoons like that. Like, how do you even describe that? So I pop on Ogre Slayer, and I remember being scared as shit in the first episode.
No, the first 2 minutes.
But then I moved on to the second episode and hardly got out of the first like 5 minutes of it. And I remember I didn't have nightmares, but I had deep dreams about that shit because I didn't understand. I had never seen an ogre. I had never seen women being abused in any way. I had never seen just anything like that. I don't even think at that point I had actually seen What's Love Got to Do with It. I might have seen it by then, but that was different.
No, sorry.
I hear you. I hear you. That's the anyway. We're not gonna do that. Love you, Tina Turner. We're not gonna do that. Rest in peace. Anyway,
I've never seen the movie. I've never seen that movie.
You've never seen the movie?
I've never seen that movie.
It's because you're not black.
But
like it's true. Like that's one of those things that's like it's true as hell. Like it's because you're not black. Man, I'm not gonna get into all that. Anyway, but I had never seen anything like this before, and it gave me like bad dreams. And I know that I was told not to watch this fucking show. And I went to my mother and told her, I said, well, if I tell him, he'll get mad. If I tell my mom, she'll just laugh at me and not think about it. And I said, Mom, Uncle Thomas told me not to watch this show because it was scary. And I watched it and it was scary. And like I had bad dreams. And she was like, you had bad dreams over a show you wasn't fucking supposed to be watching? Okay, motherfucker. Told my uncle about it and then whooped my ass. So behind Ogre Slayer, I got the shit scared out of me and an ass whooping.
That's a show to always be in your mind.
Always. That show has been with me since I was in the fourth grade.
Well, for the ass whooping or the show?
Both. One story can't go without the other. One hand washes the other's feet.
Well, seeing this show from my experience for the first time, because I've never heard of Ogre Slayer. I've heard of Goblin Slayer. And when I heard of Goblin Slayer, Kadawfi brought up Ogre Slayer to Matt.
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah, man, watch this. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Matt said it was worse than Goblin Slayer. Worse than Goblin Slayer. Like, and if anybody's seen Goblin Slayer, they know what happens in the first 5 minutes. And Matt
and what's continually happening around that world in Goblin Slayer.
And MattMatt was like, Goblins or Ogre Slayer is worse. It's scary. But MattMatt told me it was scary and everything. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it because MattMatt was kind of giving it a bad view and you weren't really saying anything about it.
Because you had to experience it.
And then we made a bet that Kadawfi would watch a show I had picked for 3 episodes. And he told me to watch Ogre Slayer.
We made a deal. We didn't make a deal. We made a deal.
Made a deal.
I regret that deal.
You regret that?
Why do you do this to me all the time? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
You give me a good one. I give you...
You give me shit every time. Like, High Card was the best one you've given me. Like, solely you, High Card is the one that you've given me.
We need to watch that again.
You need to watch that again. Never know dollars.
All right. So when he told me to watch it, yeah, I was going to watch it for 3 episodes, but it was only 4 episodes, so I checked out the whole thing, and I could not stop watching it. The first episode went, like, how Kadawfi explained it. The first episode, a girl gets infested by the Oni spirit. Kind of looks like she was assaulted in the alley, but she was infested by the Oni. And he explained that she was like Pokemon, like she was a Pokeball. I thought that was the show I was going to see. But when I watched the first episode and that happened, I was like, okay, MattMatt was overreacting about the Goblin Slayer, because Goblin Slayer is like whole 10 times worse. Yeah. But her being infested, air quotations, no one else sees it. She get infested by the Oni, and she has 3 years of good luck. Like,
I mean, fantastic luck.
It's not good luck like you like win scratch offs like a motherfucker, but it's good luck that your body or your pain, you're actually feeling pain. Like
anything that's harmful coming your way is like immediately like bounced off into the next person.
That, or it's like just like nullified, like the baseball. She was gonna get slapped. She was gonna get clocked with that baseball in it.
What was her name again? It was like Miko.
Miriko.
Miriko? I thought it was just Miko.
It's spelled Maeko in the like the one of the places I grabbed the name.
Well, you know,
but in the show it's Maiko.
I think her name was just Tiny Horn.
No, she was Akira.
Because she kept calling him Tiny. She was Tetsuo. He kept calling her Tiny
Tetsuo,
Horn.
that's his name. But yeah, that dude. Like, there's a picture I sent to Kadawfi watching that episode. Her face, it'll be showing up right now on YouTube or Spotify. Her face is just like, I'm gonna kill some shit. I'm gonna kill some shit.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna kill some shit
all day. So like,
but watching the first episode, it made me want more. And knowing it's only 4 episodes, I was wondering how long it's going to be, because it was only like a 30-minute episode. So, or 38. I think the first one was the longest. Then the second episode came, and that's when the finest woman on that show, the news reporter.
I disagree.
You disagree.
She was, look here, hold on, because we just talking about the gals of the show. Hold on a minute. The show is called Ogre Slayer. Let's set this stage right, Steve. Apparently, long ago, an Oni gave birth to a full-blooded Oni that had taken the shape of a human. And instead of having a horn, it had a katana.
They got a special divine weapon called the Onikirimaru.
This young man does not have a name. People only refer to him
by his sword.
By his sword title. Onikirimaru.
That man is the man with no name.
Or the Ogre Slayer.
He's literally the man with no name. That is so cool.
Now, the Ogre Slayer, he's destined to slay ogres. He believes that if he kills every ogre on the planet, he can become human and finally rest.
You think that was a folktale? That, like, not like in a folktale of the story, because there's probably multiple stories about this blade.
But do you think like it's a folktale
to him? Like, if he kills all the Oni, he's gonna turn into.
Oh, you think like maybe it's bullshit?
Yeah, but not like not calling it bullshit, but like an objective he thinks will like happen.
What is the word? A prophecy.
Prophecy. There
like
you go. Prophecy. There you go. Like if he kills all the Oni, he has a chance. If he doesn't go into his if he doesn't become one of them,
right,
he'll become human or a man.
It might be a prophecy. It might just be his own beliefs. I like how the show leaves that for open for interpretation. Like just 4 episodes and possibly
needs more.
Needs some more. Yeah, Steve scratching his neck right now.
Yeah, because man, like I'm usually used to like a 12 episode, 24, longer, 54. 128, 700 from Naruto.
5 million from Dragon Ball.
No, I didn't watch One Piece. So
Dragon Ball.
600 from Dragon Ball.
Is it just 600 with all three?
It's like 640. It's like 640, and see how much they give you, even with GT. That's with
what?
That's with GT too.
Who?
Then it's like 550.
Yeah.
But like having only 4 episodes, this is your kind of show because you like a quick, fast shot to the arm.
Yeah, I like. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, I'm a big fan of again a show that fucking ends. I like a show that cares enough about its story to even be able to show off fan service in the most fan servicey way that you could ever ask for fan service to be shown. There were straight up boobies on the show, and they didn't take away from the story nor the animation quality to make jiggle physics happen. They were able to incorporate everything into one shot, and it blurred together so well. It was tasteful.
It was very tasteful.
Very tasteful.
Like you didn't think about it. Like it was just because she got attacked. Like it wasn't. Oh, they grabbed one button out of the shirt and the whole shirt exploded.
They're super strong.
No, man. There's just random people doing that in those kind of anime too.
Those kind of anime where they just look at her shirt and just be like, blap, there you go. Like apparently, have you ever tried to like rip your woman's shirt?
All right, we're not going to talk.
No. Have you ever tried to rip your woman's clothes?
Yeah, they're a little tough.
Yeah, you gotta actually put more juice in it than you thought you'd have to, and it loses its sexy while you're trying to rip her clothes.
It's not like a Hulk Hogan shirt or
right.
or like paper thin.
They're like real clothes, and you're like, that's a good quality. You stretched it all out.
But yeah, it doesn't take anything away from the story, and it doesn't add anything to the story. It's part of the story. It's very, very tasteful.
Yeah. It's part of the deal. Like again, the deal. I think if anybody knows anything about Onis or ogres, they're
malicious.
They're malicious. They're hateful. They don't really like
evil.
us too much.
You can eat a kid. They're evil.
They ain't got no problem eating us, eating children. Like there's apparently folk tales of like an Oni eating a woman, a grown ass woman, in one bite.
Ugh.
Like they're part of the story, you know. For anybody who doesn't know what an Oni looks like, what it is, they're usually like big blue, red, black, or yellow, in color. They're huge. They're like bigger than Shrek. They usually carry around some sort of a metal club.
Think of Doomsday.
Think of Doomsday size. That's a good size. Like think of a mean ass Doomsday. They usually wear like a loincloth or a tiger cloth around their nether regions.
It's just what they wear.
Right.
That's just clothing.
And even though they're considered to be demons, apparently they also can be known to bring good fortune and luck.
There's good and bad.
Yeah, but they're all shitheads apparently. So I'm not really sure how it works with them.
Well, look, we have one good one.
We have one good one, but he's kind of in it for his own selfish reasons. So yeah, they can be good or bad. In his case, when he's dealing with Tiny Horn, he can show to be a bit of an asshole, to be almost selfish in his cause. Because like it seems like he just really wants to help humans at this point in his story. But when she gets infested and isn't listening to him, he's kind of there taunting her. Instead of just like dealing, he's kind of there taunting her. Instead of sitting there watching after her and waiting for the things to be born, he's like, all right, whatever. You don't want to listen. All right, it's about to happen to you. I told you to call me, but you didn't want to call. Now here I am, and it's about to be too late. This shit gonna hurt. And she goes on forward into her story where everybody's pissed off about her having good luck. So much good luck that people around her are getting hurt, and they're trying to prove a point by people continuously trying to hurt her. they decide when she's in the nurse's office after they tried to hurt her again. While she's in the nurse's office, they decide to get together a group of people who apparently got hurt by her with baseball bats and golf clubs and croquet mallets and feet.
Bunch of feet.
And they went to go jump this girl. Now, before I let Steve tell this next part, I have something to ask the general audience. If you believe somebody is cursed, and the curse that they have is that harm to them always gets redirected at somebody else, why would you go jump her?
That's a fair question. But I didn't think that was going to happen.
Like, I mean, I don't know, burn her mama's house down. You know, like, if you really want to get at her that bad. But, like, why would you go jump her?
They didn't think two humongous, like, 10-foot tall monsters would come out of her nether regions. It wasn't even a portal, man. Like, a whole third fucking arm. Like, 4 of my arms came out of her nether regions.
She gave birth.
And then 2 giant red and purple big ass Oni show up and just, it's over.
They just decimate the room.
Over. You saw guts, you saw arms, you saw like
brain matter,
everything. It was a murder. And then Onikirimaru show up and he's like, I'm too late, because they've already went back inside her and she's like murdered the room. There's like intestines holding around the floor, and there's arms and legs and like half bodies and stuff. It's like
torsos and feet.
There's not a lot of anime I see nowadays with that much blood, but I don't look out for those kind of animes.
Like there's plenty of anime out there these days that some of them straight up overdo it with the blood. You remember like Mortal Kombat Deception, where it was like if you breathed on somebody, like they splattered blood on the screen. It was like, that was kind of a lot of blood. Like,
because it's Mortal Kombat.
People don't bleed that much. Stop that.
Come on, man. I would give that to Mortal Kombat, but
that was different than from, like, it was like they had like an obsessive amount of blood. I'm not saying it was bad. It was just like, there's anime out there with that amount of blood in it. I mean,
the closest I remember watching is either the newer Berserk or Dora, the show we watched.
What's the shit with Alucard? Helsing. I always want to call him Van Helsing, but Helsing. That one has a shit ton of blood in it too.
Didn't finish it.
No?
Need to.
You should. It was fun. I don't know which one you're watching, but
the like how Full Metal Alchemist had Brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate.
Oh, okay.
So I got the whole thing.
I know I watched the original season.
And you're gonna say it's way better.
I haven't watched Ultimate.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Man, fuck Brotherhood.
All right.
But anyway, so in Ogre Slayer, essentially what happens is he tries to track this girl down to tell her that, like, hey, yo, you got these demons inside of you. You need to get them out. You know, and she's like, oh, no, I've accepted these things. These are my jam. These are mine. These are my homies. My motherfucker, I got Charmander and Squirtle at the same time. You don't want this. You don't want this heat, son. They both learned Mega Punch real early. You don't want this shit, son. And she even goes on to threaten Ogre Slayer. And at this point, the Oni know who he is, and they're warning her on the inside, like, hey, yo, he's trying to kill us. Da, 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 da. And they're scaring her into believing that they're her homies.
They ain't.
They're not her homies. And they meet her actual best friend. Long story short, they got kidnapped because of some shit that
old girl did.
That Tiny Horn did. I like that he kept calling her that.
He didn't call her Tiny Horn in the sub.
For real?
He did.
The name of the episode was Tiny Horn in the dub. I thought it was in the sub too.
It is in the sub.
It's the name of the episode. He called her that because she was talking shit about, like, at the railroad track, where she was talking shit to him and was like, yo, like, we'll kick your ass. You don't want this. You don't want this, son. He's like, yo, you need to get them things out your body. Nah, fuck you, son. These are my peoples. We roll deep like this. She got Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Fuck you, man.
And then she
That's
went out,
funny.
and then she goes out like Tekashi 6ix9ine. She snitched on them boy. She told on him.
She didn't tell on him. She straight up gave up.
Well, she told on him because like it turned out he couldn't kill the Oni.
Because they're attached to her as a spirit,
right?
Not a physical thing.
Like, oh, I said long story short, and I went all around the world. Long story short, her and her friend get kidnapped, and the Oni get released while they're being kidnapped in a vehicle, and they just start tearing downtown wherever the fuck they're at up. They just start ransacking that shit. Annie and everybody around gets their fucking head snatched off. And her best friend gets out the car. I'm going to leave it at that.
And she can't take the pain of something happening. And she tells Ogre Slayer to murder her quickly. I thought the whole show was going to be about her. Wrong. It's Onikirimaru show, boy.
It's the Ogre Slayer show. This isn't. This shit called Naruto, not Sasuke. Stop playing.
Yeah, I would not watch that show. But continuing.
I hear he's a good dad these days.
I don't know. I've not watched Boruto. So yeah, the first episode ends, and yeah, it was sad seeing her go, but she was stupid.
She let that shit get way to her head. Like having the ability to call out two giant monsters at your will and just start destroying shit. Like she caused a giant explosion in the middle of town. She went through this shit looking just like damn Tetsuo. Came through this shit looking just like Tetsuo. Just like all of a sudden I got all this power and fuck you. Can't nobody else hurt me ever again. No one's gonna bully me.
She never got hurt.
They kicked her ass though.
They bullied her because she was such good luck. But
she was a nice girl up until they kicked her ass.
So when you saw it, when you finally continued the story, because you said you only watched the first episode and the second of 5 minutes of the second episode.
When I was a kid, yeah.
Was the whole thing on the VHS?
I think there were two tapes.
2 tapes, yeah.
I think
part 1, part 2.
I think so, but I think so.
But watching the second episode, how did you think it was going to follow through with that? How do you think they were going to follow through the first episode?
When I finally grew up and watched it again?
Yeah.
I honestly wasn't sure what the next episode really could be. Because I didn't really remember the second episode. Whenever I watch the second episode, I have a vague memory of that park that she walks through.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a vague memory of that, and it's kind of just like, all right, fresh, brand new story. Here we go. But I never really had an idea as to what the fucking next thing could be. Like, obviously, he's going to have to kill an ogre for something. And probably for fucking with a girl. And I probably assumed that it was going to have another pregnant woman. A woman pregnant with ogres again. Okay, this must be how they come into this world.
I can see that. But there's also how the second episode actually did it.
The second episode was with the news report.
Yep. The second episode, but...
The journalist.
So he was taking... Okay, this is what I wanted to say. It showed that there's different ways how an Oni can come into the world, and how it was coming into the world was Onikirimaru was there stealing, or they were the temple was getting disrupted, and there was 4 temples connected to this one Oni.
Right.
And it was either because it said it got one of the temples got ransacked multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the Oni sightings or the Oni apparitions were happening. The girl from the first start and the 3 guys that was gonna do taxes with her, lost their memory and had hysteria.
They're gonna take taxes. Hysteria.
They had hysteria, and they had short-term memory loss because they lost their memories.
Right.
But it was multiple cases were happening around that city or that area. That's why Onikirimaru was there, and he had to destroy the temples, take the piece inside of it, 4 keys. I was going to call them keys, and that's when the Oni was able to be killed.
It was his pieces of his body that were sealed away.
Head, body, legs, and feet, or something.
Right. Arms. The way they chopped them up in 4 pieces
and put them in
4 temples.
It was prayed to not protect them, but seal them away.
Right. He was sealed away inside. I think those things are called like otama. I think is what those little teardrop shaped things are.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. I think that's what they're called, but I'm gonna get corrected one day. He had them sealed away inside of the little otama, and Ogre Slayer was trying to free him to kill him. He wanted to wipe him out. Again, he wants to get rid of all of them. And if he's not dead and he's still on the planet, then he counts. So it turns out that this guy, he was coming in the shape of a cloud once the seal started to get weak.
Yeah.
When Ogre Slayer started messing with the seal, he started coming out in the shape of a cloud. And apparently, if you look at Oni in the eyes, which is one of the little myths, if you look at Oni in the eyes, you'll go crazy, and they can give you nightmares. Nightmares that you can't stop. I think it's like a continuous nightmare,
like Freddy Krueger nightmare.
Right, like you won't wake up from it type shit.
Okay.
Like you're kind of just like not really there, but your brain's always having a nightmare.
Yeah, that's one thing I don't want.
Yeah,
that actually sounds really creepy.
So he does this. This Oni does this to a lot of people around the country within these 4 cities where the seal is at, while Onikirimaru is essentially looking for the rest of the seal. He knows where a couple of them are at, but he has to find the rest. He starts to follow a journalist who she starts investigating for herself, like, the myth, the legend, and he essentially takes on her myth and legend and goes ahead and starts collecting the rest of the seals. For the 4th seal, she winds up at the village, at the temple that holds the head of this particular Oni, the last piece that Onikirimaru needs.
Yeah.
She goes in, talks to a priest, and the priest is like, man, I got this kick-ass seal around here. Like, Oni wouldn't dare walk into this motherfucker. Wouldn't dare. Now, at this point, the beautiful journalist had seen Onikirimaru around and even spoken to him a little bit. And he was just kind of this weird, dark figure that was always around. But she was sure he was a human.
Reminded me of, like if Urameshi was like a sad boy, or if he was like Sasuke.
Sad boy, or if Hiei was taller.
If Hiei was taller and a comb over. But yeah, he was pretty much piggybacking the reporter, following her, seeing what she was doing, finding those seals in the temple she was researching. She goes to the last one, and night falls, and the priest is pretty much telling her to leave. Something's gonna happen tonight. You need to leave, or you might just die.
Yep.
And she sticks around, and is lucky that she actually sticks around, because if she wasn't there, Onikirimaru couldn't have done what he did. She broke the salt circle, man.
She broke the seal. Onikirimaru got in because she broke the seal, because the Oni was creating his cloud, his ghost cloud, inside of the temple. Now, for some reason, he could get his ghost cloud in there, but he couldn't. An Oni can't walk through the doors to get inside.
His physical form.
Yeah, his physical form, he can't get in. So she ends up breaking the salt circle to allow Onikirimaru to get in and to get the last part of the seal. Then he fully breaks all the pieces of the seal and allows this ogre to become whole again. And when he becomes whole again, he's kind of badass. Like, he's got a kick-ass design. He kind of beats Onikirimaru up a little bit. and he looks really cool doing it. He ends up stabbing Onikirimaru with his own sword, his own special divine sword that's capable of killing ogres, which Onikirimaru is in fact an ogre. But much like Dante from Devil May Cry, you ain't killing him with his own fucking sword. That'll never happen. Are you crazy? Are you fucking crazy?
I like his explanation though. He says we're one. We're two sides of the same coin.
Yep.
This is me and I am him. Like you can't kill, like how you said with Dante. You ain't killing me with my own sword.
You got to be out your fucking mind.
Then he stunts on the Oni. He stunts on that man.
Yeah, he does.
He sliced that man in half and just like how you do, you take the blood away off your sword. And like, oh man, it's going to show up right now. That's how cool that motherfucker was. That's how cool that motherfucker was.
Yeah, he did that. He did that shit. I hope y'all enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But he kills the Oni, and then I think the girl had some feelings at the end.
I mean, who wouldn't after being saved by someone who can kill an Oni of that size? And that seemed to be a pretty dangerous Oni. Like that wasn't just your run of the mill. Let me chop his ass up one time.
I think his name was Otakimaru.
Otakimaru.
I think he was like one of the special ones. I don't think he was just like a regular ghost.
Nah, he was super. That motherfucker had a.
It looked scary for a second when Onikirimaru got stabbed by his own sword.
Oh, and dude was talking shit. He was like, yeah, you don't like the way that feel, do you, little bitch? Like,
I thought the girl was dead. And I thought the show was over. I was like,
he's about to kill her ass.
I really thought, I was like, oh, it must be like she must pick it up or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. But so feelings are felt for the dude, the family, the hysteria, and the short-term memory loss goes away.
It goes away for everybody who's been affected by it.
And those three guys go to jail.
Those three guys go to jail. They come back.
Fuck them guys.
Yeah, fuck them. That was crazy. That was ridiculous. That was crazy. I thought watching that episode the first time, I thought the priest was the Oni.
Oh, I can see that because he did have like some like real sharp eyes, and you know how like some people have.
I was like, this motherfucker, and he kept trying to tell her to get the fuck out of here. Girl, I'm giving you a chance.
He look like the dude from Wolverine. The dude from the neck down.
Wolverine, you talking about Shingen?
Not Shingen. The dude, the dad, the father.
Shingen?
Is it Shingen? I think so. I thought his name was something else. But yeah, he looked like him with his eyes open.
Yeah. He's pretty badass looking. That the dude from Wolverine. Yeah, I thought it was him. I thought he was the Oni, and I was like, this is gonna be crazy. Oh, she should leave. She should leave.
Oh.
But it was like, no, man, he got this. Everybody's okay. Well, almost everybody's okay. But some people are fine.
Some people.
Some people are fine. I mean,
that mom still has to think about what happened that night.
There's that too. He's not like immediately concerned about saving the people around him.
To kill the Oni.
Right. He's like, I'm gonna just clap the Oni. Like, when in the first episode when they were terrorizing shit downtown, like he wasn't really, he kind of even let them get away a little bit. Like he wasn't really.
So this kind of reminded me of how this plays out. I was thinking Supernatural. If you know what Supernatural is.
Yeah.
I know it's Supernatural, but they kill the monster and they leave. They even have a saying, you never shit twice in the same place.
Yeah. Get the fuck on.
Like you kill the monster, you go. So it's kind of like that. They've killed multiple people in like the monsters in human form and like they leave.
Right.
They're leaving behind a murder scene. People scared because there was like a fake FBI. Like that's what I thought of.
That makes sense.
It's not like calling him that, but it was just how it
it's
acted.
kind of just very similar. Because I mean, you're right. Why would you stick? Because like if you stick around and set up a home base, then that just gives the monsters a place to come get you and group up together.
Yeah, that's true too.
So like if you just keep on the move, they never know where you're at. They don't know what the fuck you look like, and if you kill every one of them that sees you, then you're just like, you're not even a whisper in the wind to them.
Well, he doesn't have anything to go back to. He's a wanderer.
Yeah, a wandering murderer.
I was going to call him a wandering samurai, but if you want to call him a wanderer,
he murders Oni. I mean, I'm not mad at what he murders. Look here, there's somebody out there in this world whose sole job it is to kill spiders. I'm not mad at him. You're a murderer, but I ain't mad at you.
So we get to talk about my favorite episode. Dude, this episode was like how it started. Girls running away from the Oni, like the first episode. I was like, okay, this is gonna be a repeat of everything.
Yeah.
And then, and that's when I was like, okay, this is a repeat. Then when the Oni was like, I'll make a deal with you. You bring me your child at 5, and you're free to go. That's when I was like, okay, something ain't right here. Oni don't just ask for a 5-year-old child and just. She brings a 5-year-old child to this temple that this Oni was living at, or a spirit, whatever. And it proceeds to grab the child out of her hands and eat it in front of her.
No. What you forgot was.
Oh, she's trying to run away and take it away from him?
She attempted to pull away. She didn't try to run. She was like, the Oni was like, oh yeah, give me your child. Oh, I've been waiting 5 years. She pulls away. And he uses his abilities and takes over her hands and makes her strangle her child while looking her child in the face and screaming, no, please stop. Don't make me do this. Please, no. She has to watch her child die under her own hands with her child not understanding that it wasn't mommy killing you. And then he takes the hot corpse out of her arms and eats that motherfucker like an apple. You know how you eat an apple and the juices run down your face and he just motherfucking
There's a Snickers bar, that shit, right?
He just motherfucking chowed down on that 5-year-old. He was all delicious. Oh, it's so fresh and tender. And bragging to this woman about how her child tastes while he's eating it. And that apparently drives her fucking psychotic.
Wouldn't it drive you insane?
And turns her into an Oni on the spot.
Do you think she died or she just became an Oni?
A little bit of both.
A little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
No, I understand.
I think that's how that works.
It felt like a not like a ritual, but like how you said, a prophecy. If you kill your child from an Oni killing your child or whatever, it drives you insane, turns you into an Oni.
To my understanding, people can be turned into Onis in a variety of ways. And one of the ways is to feel like absolute anger, hatred, maliciousness. And I think that action caused her to snap. And she probably had thoughts she had never had before in her whole life, and they overwhelmed her. And in that moment, she was turned into an Oni. What I find cool about this is she wasn't just turned into just an Oni and fucking lost her cool about it. She was turned into an Oni and then turned into his herald. This becomes Galactus and Silver Surfer from this point forward in this episode.
It was creepy because it fast forward through time, and a lady can't have children. She's having a very hard time to have children. Grandma is like, I want to see my child or my grandchild before I pass on. She goes to a temple that everyone has told her not to pray to.
Right.
Not to pray to.
Because you know what happens if you pray.
You know what happens. She still goes up there and she prays for a child. And miraculously, she gets a child. But at that same moment, I think that herald attached herself to her. I think she literally, just put an ankle chain on her and said, let's go.
Well, that was making the deal. Like when she went up there and prayed, the herald of our Oni of the week, the herald, she didn't just attach herself to the woman. She confirmed the deal with the Oni in the temple. She essentially delivered him a new baby. And the Oni said, deal is done. old girl walked away, had her baby, and next time you see her, baby's about 5 years old, and she done gone fucking crazy telling the whole goddamn town that the baby's gonna die on her 5th birthday.
I don't think that was it. How they explained it was the ghost that was whispering into people's ears. Like it was whispers around the fucking.
It was whispers around, but she was the one confirming it. Like she was the one saying it. That was one of the problems when the little girl got left out of daycare. When the little girl walked out of daycare on her own.
Oh yeah, they were like, "Where did she go?" Oh, she walked out.
And the new daycare lady was like, new daycare watcher. I don't know what you call it. I'm so sorry for those of you that work in daycares. I don't know the right words. The caretaker of the child. The new girl. She goes, "Ma'am, calm down." And she, "You fucking calm down, bitch!" Like, and then when she runs off, the senior worker at the daycare says, "Oh man, I should have told you. Like, she's been going around telling everybody her baby's gonna be dead at the age on her 5th birthday, and like she's freaking the fuck out. She didn't freak everybody else the fuck out."
That's when Onikirimaru shows up, saves her from the Oni, the Herald Oni. Cuts her mask off, and you see that. That's an ugly woman right there.
I feel so bad for her.
She didn't deserve it.
She didn't deserve it. She
turned into that though.
Right. But like that doesn't actually run her off. It just scares the Oni for the moment. The Herald scares her for the moment. She saw the sword. Right. She's like, "Oh shit, cut my mask. Let me get the hell up out of here. I'm gonna get the hell up out of here."
The mom thinks that it's him that took the baby. That's what she thinks.
The mom thinks it's everybody.
Well, yeah.
Mom Dukes is like legitimately scared of who's going to kill her daughter and how this is going to happen and da-da-da-da-da. And we wind up getting to the part where the Herald does make the delivery.
How the Herald made the delivery was kind of cool because Onikirimaru showed up back at their house.
Yeah.
She's been talking to her husband that like there's people just saying that she's gonna die and all that shit. Onikirimaru shows up and is telling her, "Hey, remove that salt line. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you out."
He's trying to tell her to put the salt line up.
Oh, he was like, "I'm gonna help you out."
Put the salt. Yeah. Right. He's trying to help the little girl, and the little girl was like, "Well, I can't. Today's my birthday." And like, "I'm not supposed to. Mommy said it's my birthday, and I don't have to. I don't get to do anywhere. It's my birthday." And Onikirimaru's like, "Yeah, you're right. It's your birthday." But that's when Mom Dukes comes through with the golf club.
Oh yeah, cracks him right in the head too.
Oh man, Tiger Woods' wife saw that episode before she.
Oh, you wrong. But she grabs the baby and starts running, hysterically starts running, and I thought that was the creepiest and the coolest part was she ran right to the temple.
Yep.
Like something was in her mind to say,
and just
go to the
took
temple.
her to the temple. Like, boom, what am I doing here? Oh no. And it was like, here you are. And the Herald made baby girl choke her own daughter to death, which I thought was cool because before it was the Oni that did it. But I guess the powers that the Herald has, I guess the Herald has a little bit of the Oni's power and has that same power.
But you are missing just one thing. Well, she brought her there. The Oni showed up. Onikirimaru and the Oni started showing up, and she ran away. She ran away, and that's
show you right. And that's how the ghost caught up to her. How the Herald caught up to her.
The mom, I gotta give the mom respect. She did a very she couldn't stop herself, but she did the same thing the Herald did to her child.
Mm-hmm.
Turned herself right into an Oni. You know what she did? She murdered that Herald. She murdered that Herald.
The Herald did the same thing that the Oni did to her too. Was taunted her after she did it. Because the Herald was like, "Doesn't it feel good to please an Oni? Doesn't it feel good to take the life of your own child? Wasn't that amazing? That was fucking stellar. Oh my God, you should fucking do that again. That was fucking kick-ass." And Mom Dukes turned into an Oni. And with her newfound Oni power, she turned into Wolverine. She went ballistic barrage. She went amp. She went stupid. She fucking murdered the Herald. Straight up clapped her. That game's over. No more Herald.
No more Harold.
And then while Onikirimaru is struggling against the demon that's trying to eat her baby,
the girl comes in, takes his brain out.
She fucking
like,
jumps
fatality.
in with like the best Arya Stark move ever, and fucking just snatches his fucking brain out. It's insane. Like damn, Onikirimaru, I guess this one wasn't for you to handle, pal. And while she's berserking, he's like, all right, fine. You want to berserk? You want to keep being a demon? You want to be a demon? I'm going to cut your ass in half. And he goes to cut her in half and just slices the demon flesh off of the woman. And out comes Mom Dukes again. She's fresh and brand new, but her baby's still dead.
Onikirimaru gives her a choice. He says, you can stay alive, or your child can live.
With just a moment of hesitation, she took that death.
That was a sad death. That was even sadder than the girl dying.
That was a good death.
That was a good death. She chose the right thing. That is my favorite episode. That felt like the longest episode to me, but it didn't stick around longer than it needed to be. Like
right.
How you're saying, like the whole 38 or 30 minutes of it felt great through the whole thing, like the whole story. I felt it the whole time.
Yeah, it was like the way they put that together, that story. I again, even watching that later as an adult, I hadn't quite heard a story like that one. You know, maybe some elements a little similar here and there. Me making the joke about the Herald and Galactus and Silver Surfer, like, yeah, okay. But like, I still hadn't killed your own child with your own hands while looking him in the eyes, while your child's screaming for you to stop.
That's the last thing the child saw.
Right, and like you're aware of it and you're not in control. Like, what a horrible. I think I'd turn into an Oni. I think that's how Demon Slayer got its start. Like, was this very episode, I think. We need to find out.
We need to find out.
The person that makes Demon Slayer, we need to find out if they've ever seen Onikirimaru.
And now we're to the love episode. The romance.
I don't want to spend too much time detailing this one, because it being the last and final episode, the one that neatly ties up these 4 episodes of
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
It loops itself back
Hell
around.
no.
It loops back around, man.
Hell no.
But I don't want to spend too much time detailing this one. What I will say on my part of it, and Steve, feel free to join in if you need to, but what I will say is that this Oni of the week, what it likes to do is it likes to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Feed off your hatred.
Feed off your hatred. That's the
and
phrase.
Jealousy.
It likes to feed off of that, and apparently likes to find servants, people who are of lower standing, who are around higher standing people.
I think more broken people that have a lot of hatred, because you can see that she's very broken.
You can see that she's broken. Your first creation. God, that was such a good. Your first creation. You get to see that. And like, of course she's broken. She keeps getting slapped in the face for fucking up. And like, she's getting called worthless and this, that, and the third. And being told to, sit out here and go get some more drinks and fuck you, bitch. And then the demon just preyed on that. Like that moment of where she's thinking to them, fuck you. Like where she's thinking, you just hit me, fuck you, bitch. You just wait, bitch.
It was the weakness point.
Like, I'll get you back. And the ogre was just like, let me get that. Let me help you out.
I help you out.
And like turned her ass into a damn demon. Turned her into an ogre. And oh girl, the woman who was just slapping her in her face, I guess like the head servant, the woman who was just slapping her in the face, she was like, look, man, get your shit together, or I'm gonna go tell the
Matt. That was her end of her voice actor's lines.
That was the end of those lines. And she got her fucking head slapped clean off. I mean, and then the old girl went inside the building as an ogre and just started tearing everybody the fuck up. Just left a bloodbath in that bitch. Which, we finally get to see Onikirimaru show up. And the cool part is he's got longer hair. His design's a little different. Clothes are a little different. Like, wait a minute. Are we back in time? Are we no longer in modern times?
That's what I loved about it. It really didn't show you a timeline, but it showed that time passed. Going back to the third episode, the daughter grew up and he was the same age.
Right.
He passed by her and he really wasn't there because he was in pretty much like a ghost form.
Well, he was there. He walked right past her.
But she didn't see him.
Yeah, she did.
Oh. I thought she didn't see him.
Yeah, she saw him.
I thought it was more like an apparition kind of thing.
She saw him and turned around to look at him, but he didn't look back.
That's what it was.
He didn't look back. He just smiled and kept walking. He was happy that, that was the moment, one of the moments you show that, okay, he does have a bit of a heart. He does actually care about the people around.
He's a little more human than Oni.
Right. Like, because again, he didn't really seem very apathetic for these fucking people at first. Kind of used the reporter to get what he needed and then got the fuck on. Like, she's sitting there just like, oh, what do we do? Bitch, I don't know what you're going to do. See you later.
Deuces.
Chuck the deuces at her.
But, yeah, I don't want to get too deep in this episode.
Right. I don't want to tell it.
This episode does really make him feel human. And, like, it still feels like the show didn't end.
It shows a lot of pain, this episode. Like, seeing this episode and then going back and watching like the first two episodes again, the difference in his character design, it actually saddens you. It's like, oh, because when you get to him in modern times versus when you get to him in like the 1800s?
Yeah, somewhere around
like
that.
The late 1800s or something.
Well, the
like that.
first part of the show was like 1800s, but the second part there was cars driving around.
That was like 1930,
something
like that. It was. I know it was during the expansion in Japan where they were westernizing. That was when the second part of the last episode takes place.
Because the first part kind of shows you that they were westernizing, but the second part's like when they start, like they've been
in it, for a little while, been working towards it for a while.
But you have any questions?
Yeah. So I know I show you a lot of older anime, and I know I say shit. Kinnikuman did it first. I know I do that shit a lot, and I'm actually wondering in this show, from the stuff that you've seen, was there anything that you saw that was familiar?
The opening reminded me of Berserk and Baki the Grappler, the old 97 Berserk and the old Baki the Grappler 2000s. Because of the same saying said over again. Right. It was never changed. Outlaw Star kind of did it too, but it was different because it was like kind of a layout, laydown of what was happening in the story. Pokemon.
Like first time you saw the Pokeball energy?
It looked like Pokemon energy. It looked like the Pokemon energy. I don't know, man. Just a sad boy with a sad sword. Hiei.
Sad boy with the sad sword.
Hiei with Urameshi's
hair.
No, Hiei with Urameshi's not emotions but personality. There you go.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. If Urameshi was Urameshi versus Ogre Slayer, like as far as personality wise.
Urameshi.
As far as personality wise, Urameshi has like a wild personality. Like Ogre Slayer is very calm and quiet. He's closer to Hiei's personality.
Okay, then Hiei's Hiei's whole thing, but Urameshi's hair. Okay. That comb over is like hard. Those first two episodes and the ending credits, that motherfucker got the comb over from hell. And it's not like a comb over like he's losing hair. It's the front part, people.
It's like a bowl cut.
That man, he looks like what Ippos looks like when he tries to look good. He doesn't have the spiky hair. He kind of rolls his hair down and stuff.
He's got that Seto Kaiba look from Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, it didn't really remind me of a lot of things. I was really happy that the show was, to be honest, it felt like fresh air. Like it was like something I've never seen before.
Yeah.
like I've seen like certain parts of it, but seeing how I don't know, man. It's just like The Man with No Name. It was kind of like a western to me. Like it was a really cool thing.
A Japanese western.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I can't explain how it made me like really excited, but the storytelling of the third episode, the first episode being such a catch, like you caught it and it was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. The fourth episode being the way it is, like the only worst, like not worst, but like the least amount of episodes. The second one. The second one didn't really like get me all the way there.
The second one was like, cool story, bro.
But that's that's the show. Like It's following him. It's following his ogre slaying killings, his fights and everything. It's not the people.
He was kind of like the Highlander of ogres. There can only be one.
There can only be one.
He's going around trying to clap all of them, and like nobody else is playing his game except him. Like nobody else knows there can only be one ogre. Like we thought we were cool all being ogres, but
I couldn't see this as a game, like ever. I would never want to play this game. But I want more episodes. That is the honest truth. You can say 4 episodes is just chef's kiss, like
for
great.
Me, it's perfect.
It's great. But for me, it's like there's an arc still going on. Like maybe the manga finishes and I didn't read the manga. I just watched the show. But like maybe it goes further. Maybe I just give me 6. Give me 6 and give me
2 more episodes.
Give me 2 more episodes. It's all right to have 6 episodes, but just give me like those 2 last episodes. Make his arc finish. Like
it's one of those shows that like if they finished it, they would have to finish it one of 2 ways. Way number 1, where he kills the big Oni, and it gets rid of all the Onis on Earth. Like they all just die with him.
They can have a time skip.
Or we have to do a time skip and go into the super future where this motherfucker fighting with lightsabers and shit. he had her hanging out with Jedi.
No,
because I mean that's the point that the show was trying to tell you at the end of it was like
he's always gonna be there.
Without humans, there won't be ogres, but without ogres, there won't be humans. They live hand in hand. Like they all exist because of one another.
So what you're saying is he's slashing into water?
Pretty much.
Or he's what is it? Oh, there's a saying, but splashing into water. You're cutting water in half. It's still going to form.
Yep.
There's always going to be anytime there's a human, there's an Oni.
Pretty much. There's a possibility for an Oni, and like, not everybody turns into an Oni. Not everybody gets infested or infected in the life of an Oni, but like Ogre Slayer and 3x3 Eyes, those two sit real close to me. Those are I love those shows. Like, they're perfect for me. There's plenty of fucking story in the short amount of time you have to watch it. And then with Ogre Slayer, unfortunately, there's not really a lot of background you can draw from, except for like time periods. That's kind of all you can really get from like the background of the show.
Yeah, that's how time shows.
Right, and then you have to guess a lot about him and what he does day to day. Because you never get to know what he does. The only time you ever get to see Ogre Slayer is when there's an ogre to be conquered. Like, you never see him walking through a town and there's not an ogre in that town.
I just want to know why. This is just my question. I don't know if you can answer it or not. Why did he have... Because it doesn't look like he ages. It doesn't.
Right.
It looks like he gets different hairstyles for modern times or before, like, just to match the aesthetic of what's going on. Why is he wearing a school uniform and not going to school?
Looks like a student going to kendo practice.
Okay.
Blends in because he's young.
He is young. He's like, I would give him like 17,
like
16.
He's allowed to be around high schools and nobody questions it.
Okay. I can give that. Be okay. I can take the answer.
He's Edward Cullen.
I feel real bad for him in the 4th episode.
Yeah. The 4th episode, Ryoko, she was my jam.
He didn't say Ryoko.
That's her name, Ryoko.
He said in sub, Yoko!
Was that what he called her? In dub, it's Ryoko. But yeah.
So, man, like, what would you rate this show?
For me, 10 out of 10. Like, for me and my personal tastes of an anime, 10 out of 10.
Did you bring this up in your best or worst?
It was brought up, but on Matt's behalf.
Oh, okay.
It was brought up on Matt's behalf, which I took over and spoke for Matt on Ogre Slayer, on our best or worst. So I think that kind of, I took Matt's.
It don't matter, but
I took his.
I'm very thankful that you at least showed me this. Like, this is a great show. As soon as I finished it, I passed it on to somebody else who kind of watched. He watches 90s anime, but he doesn't. He say he's not even seen Ogre Slayer.
There's a lot of stuff. Like he gave you Golden Boy, didn't he?
He said Golden Boy, but I've already known about Golden Boy.
Golden Boy.
He talked about Robotech. He talked about
Macross.
He talked about Vampire D. He likes that.
It's a good show, man.
Well, a good movie.
Yeah, movie. Sorry, my fault. Vampire Hunter D's real good. That's awesome.
But he really likes a lot of sci-fi. That's what he said.
If you want something short, that's longer than Ogre Slayer and really fucking awesome, Blue Gender.
I think he talked about Blue Gender.
Blue Gender's the shit. Like, I couldn't believe how awesome that was when it was on TV. I was like, I'm just getting this on Cartoon Network? Oh, that's amazing. And of course, I had to find it on my nefarious websites. Final thoughts? I said Outlaw Star embodied everything I liked about anime. This embodies everything new to me about anime. Because every time I see it, every time I think about it, I always think about how new that is. Holy shit. What is any of that? I even find myself comparing shows that have Slayer in the title to Ogre Slayer, Demon Slayer, Goblin Slayer, Slayers. I always compare those things to...
You never watched Demon Slayer, though.
Who says I hadn't?
Oh.
Who says it hadn't gotten the old 3-episode review already?
It was that bad?
I'll never talk about it, do I?
Like, you didn't even like The Rock, man?
I'll never talk about it, do I?
Where was the end? What was the end for 3 episodes?
Trying to make me talk about it. But for me personally, this is a stupendous show. It's not the action. It's not the story. It's not the animation. It's how everything comes together and gives you this brilliant tale. It's visceral. It's dark. It's scary. It makes you feel bad. Makes you want to cry. The only time I've ever laughed at Ogre Slayer is when watching it with somebody who's never seen it before.
You freak.
Well, it's hilarious. It's like to watch somebody's reaction to that shit is hilarious. Like watching it with MattMatt that one day. Oh my God, I've been laughing at him nonstop since then. Because like he straight up freaked out.
Final thoughts. Great show. 4 episodes. Too short. Makes me want to have more. Can't believe I watching Goblin Slayer first and then finding or you telling me about Ogre Slayer. Like, I don't know, man. Just I just had to clap for the show.
Yeah,
it's that fucking good, man. Like I didn't think you when you told me about it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna see a girl with a Pokemon stomach. No, man. I saw a whole ass story of a boy, a man, an Oni walking through time, having to fight, defend, and
love.
Even if it were just brief.
Love is love. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to check us out. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and so many others. We're the Fighting Couch Potatoes.
And I'm Liquid Gold Steve.
And I'm Kadawfi Crush. And don't forget, you stay classy. And thanks for stopping by.
Was that bad?
Quit being scared of Ogre Slayer.